A single date on the calendar can shift $27 million overnight without a single play being run, my friend. And it is approaching fast enough that many Eagles fans are not paying attention at the level of detail this situation demands. The contract that was signed as proof of commitment, as a declaration that the partnership would last for years, was structured behind the scenes in a way that now functions as a financial lever of surgical precision. And the man who built that mechanism with such deliberate care is the same one sitting in front of a calendar with one date circled so hard the ink practically bled through the page. So if you're a true Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because what I'm going to explain today is the most sophisticated financial episode in the Philadelphia Eagles' recent history. I'm going to walk you through the real numbers behind the A.J. Brown trade, why a single date separates a cap catastrophe from a brilliant financial operation, how the $96 million extension was deliberately structured to create exactly this window, which 3 Eagles defenders are going to receive that money, and why what Roseman is doing here is going to become the reference manual for general managers across the entire NFL for years to come. But first, hit that like and subscribe to the channel, because this is the most important financial analysis of the Eagles offseason. A.J. Brown skipped the Eagles' voluntary workouts this week. Nobody inside the Jefferson Health Training Complex seemed surprised. The locker he had occupied since arriving in Philadelphia via trade from the Tennessee Titans in 2022 sat empty while the front office phones stayed warm with New England's area code. For weeks, the public narrative has been about personal drama, about the deteriorated relationship with Jalen Hurts, about the absence at the wedding. But behind all that noise, there is a different and far more precise story. A story about money, contract structure, and a single day that changes everything. After the 2025 trade deadline, Howie Roseman told reporters publicly that you simply do not get rid of players like A.J. Brown. Months later, at the 2026 league meetings, his tone had flattened to a corporate monotone. A.J. Brown is a member of the Eagles. That is not a denial. That is a press release from a man running out the clock. The reason for that wait has a technical name and a very specific number. If the Eagles trade Brown before June 1st, the dead cap hit for the franchise rises to approximately $43.5 million. That would be one of the largest non-quarterback dead cap charges in the entire history of the NFL, a number that strips oxygen from a roster that still needs room to breathe. But if that same trade happens after June 1st, the structure changes completely. The dead cap splits. Approximately $16.4 million is absorbed in 2026, and roughly $27.1 million is pushed to 2027. One single day on the calendar. The same player. The same contract. A $27 million swing in financial breathing room. And unlike cuts, trades cannot be designated as post-June 1st. The deal must physically happen after that date. Both front offices know this. Both are waiting. But here is the detail that separates informed fans from those who are only following the surface of this story. Philadelphia did not arrive at this structure by accident. A.J. Brown's extension was deliberately loaded with option bonuses that behave similarly to restructures, but preserve a summer trade window. The deadlines to exercise those bonuses fall just before Week 1, giving the Eagles months of flexibility between June 1st and the start of the regular season. The bonus money stays unprorated until it converts, which means the dead money profile shifts dramatically depending on when the trade executes. Roseman did not stumble into this structure. He engineered it with precision. A contract that reads like a love letter on the front page functions as an escape hatch on the spreadsheet. And speaking of the spreadsheet, the numbers pressing Philadelphia from the inside are just as important as the June 1st date. The NFL salary cap for 2026 sits at approximately $301.2 million per team. The Eagles project to have around $12.6 million in effective cap space before any Brown trade, ranking 18th in the league according to Over the Cap. Brown carries a fully guaranteed salary of $29 million this season. A post-June 1st trade does not just remove that weight. It generates active cap savings in 2026 instead of adding to the burden. That breathing room is not a luxury for the Eagles. It is oxygen for a roster suffocating under the weight of its own success. And that is exactly where the story becomes even more important for Philadelphia fans to understand. The money coming off Brown's contract is not disappearing into a void. It is going directly toward 3 defenders on the roster who are about to demand market-setting extensions that will redefine their respective positions in the NFL. The first is Jalen Carter. the defensive tackle who has become one of the most dominant defenders in the league over the last 2 seasons. Carter's market price spiked aggressively after Will Anderson Jr. signed with the Houston Texans for 3 years and $150 million, with $134 million guaranteed, the richest non-quarterback contract in NFL history to date. Carter will demand a number in that same neighborhood, and the franchise knows the window to secure that deal at a fair price is closing quickly. The second and third are Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, the 2 cornerbacks who form the most feared tandem at the position in the entire league, and who both need extensions within the same time window. Mitchell and DeJean are expected to reset the cornerback market above the current benchmark, which is Sauce Gardner's 4-year, $120.4 million contract with the New York Jets. 2 all-pro cornerbacks on the same roster, both needing deals in the range of $30 million per year, both arriving at the same renewal window simultaneously. Without the cap space freed by the Brown trade, that equation simply does not work. 3 defensive cornerstones, who have not yet reached their peak. 3 contracts that need to happen within the same period. That is where Brown's cap dollars are being redirected. And when you understand that, Philadelphia's decision stops feeling like a painful rupture and starts feeling like exactly what it is: a surgical allocation of resources to build the next version of a championship-caliber team. The 2026 draft confirmed what both sides already knew, but could not yet formalize. The Eagles loaded the roster with new receivers. The Patriots avoided the position entirely and left jersey number 11 vacant in the locker room. 2 franchises operating on opposite sides of a trade that technically cannot happen yet, both building their rosters as if it already did. ESPN's Adam Schefter described a Brown deal to New England as likely on or after June 1st. This is no longer a rumor. It is a transaction waiting for a calendar page to turn. But there is one final angle to this story that almost nobody is discussing yet, and it may be the most lasting legacy of this entire situation. What Roseman did with Brown's contract is going to become the reference manual for the entire league. If the Eagles win without Brown while locking up Carter, Mitchell, and DeJean, more franchises will start treating elite receivers as assets to monetize and turn over rather than pillars to build around. The 2022 offseason moved Davante Adams, Tyreek Hill, and Brown himself via trade for draft capital. 4 years later, the cycle is completing itself. Star wide receivers are becoming cap instruments, not lifetime commitments. And agents are already watching this very carefully and taking notes. The next chapter after this trade will be a new generation of star contracts with front-loaded guarantees and no-trade clauses specifically designed to prevent teams from doing exactly what Roseman just did. The game is evolving in real time, and Philadelphia is at the center of the shift. With June 1st arriving in a matter of days, $27 million in cap space hanging on a single date, and the future of the Eagles' defensive core depending directly on this decision, the final question dominating Philadelphia is this: is Roseman about to execute one of the most elegant financial operations in recent NFL history, or will Eagles fans look back 2 years from now and wonder whether it was worth giving up the most physically dominant receiver this franchise has ever had? Leave your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later with the latest Eagles news.